Everyone has their own love language. While some whisper words of affirmation like I love you or shower others with affectionate hugs, I resort to something much less striking: documentation. I take photos and film and write about people, things, and places I hold deep sentiment for. Terrified of fleeting moments, I learned to temporarily hold on to them by recording them. I weave memory into poetry or capture them through camera lens, always desperate to craft something permanent out of mortal moments. A day after my high school graduation, my closest friends and I stuffed our suitcases and boarded a plane to Japan, a country brimming with rich culture, breathtaking city views, and delicious food. This trip marked the end of our high school journey and the start of a new daunting yet exciting chapter of our lives. I knew this would be something I didn't ever want to forget, and so I picked up my camera and filmed core memories formed on our senior trip. I'm not good with goodbyes. I rarely say them. But this video is my informally formal way of saying goodbye without really having to say it. And so, here it is. Welcome to Lost in Japan.
I was really scared. I was like, oh, we just creeped at 6 o'clock. Wait, let's find proper.
Being the cheapskates we are, we booked the earliest flight to Tokyo, leaving Shanghai the morning of June 30th. Waking up at 3 in the morning to get to the airport, we were as hyped for the trip as we were sleep deprived. The girls downed some much-needed coffee and congregated at the boarding gate. And 3 hours later, we arrived at Haneda Airport.
There was like this guy who behind the yellow shape. He is hot. like he's like, you know, hot.
Fun fact, taxis are comically expensive in Japan, so we opted for public transportation instead, something our friend group would later learn we were horrendously bad at navigating. But that's a story for later. Haneda Airport isn't in Tokyo, so we had to ride an express train for an hour to get into the city.
Make them see that although I'm weirdly self-aware, that I'm the person who really cares, but you and me.
By the time we arrived at the metro station, everyone was famished, and so we resorted to the nearest Lawson for fuel. Let me tell you, convenience stores in Japan are built different. We got rice balls and snacks that were so savory, exactly what we needed after a long trip. Satiated, we rode the metro for yet another hour to get to our airport, and then went on another 10-minute walk from our metro to our hotel. We weren't complaining though, as the group was grateful for a stroll after sitting on our asses all morning long. We are trekking our way to our hotel. So far, I love Japan so much. I've been here a couple of times, but never with friends. I'm Kyonan. Hi! This is so cute. The little glimpse we got of the Shinjuku area was already so gorgeous. We basked in the sunlight, and it was hot but not humid, and the breeze was perfect, and the skyscrapers loomed over us like we were in a literal anime show.
It is so
and
hot.
we're still waiting for Oceana, Zoe, and Sarah now.
My head is throbbing, and I'm about to literally die because I've had literally no sleep for the past like 4 days straight. And I've had no food. So I'm gonna go die for 2 hours and hopefully I'm alive by then.
We settled into our hotel rooms and took a much needed nap before heading to dinner. With the fatigue of travel wearing off, we ambled down the streets with newfound wonder. Pedestrians bustled around us, stoplights blinked at street crossings as if welcoming us into the city, and with the scurries of soles rubbing against granite, I just loved it all. We grabbed dinner at a random ramen restaurant and beamed as our orders arrived one by one. I had a pork belly ramen topped with seaweed, green onions, and soft-boiled eggs. It was good, albeit a little bit salty, but I didn't care. I was just happy to be there.
Hey, Emily, what do you rate your first meal in Tokyo? 1 out of 10. 9. 9? Okay. What about you, Ocean?
7.
7? Okay.
10 out of, no, 100 out of 10.
Oh, wait, that's like high. What about you, Josh? 10 out of 10. It's a bias.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Let's say 8.
8?
I think it's really elevated the scores. Like,
Yeah.
To ease our stuffed bellies, our group went for a quick walk around the Shinjuku area afterwards, and after collapsing onto our hotel beds, quickly dozed off into sleep. The next day, Jasmine, Kyungnan, and I accompanied Erin to a nearby cosmetics store to pick up a few items.
No, we were just at this drugstore. Okay, let's go. Okay.
We went to Uniqlo later, where I purchased a pair of glasses. We also each picked up a t-shirt that said, "I guess this is goodbye," because as sentimental beings, we had vowed to wear it on our last day in Japan. We found a matcha drink store at a mall nearby, and just so you know, I love matcha. Matcha ice cream, matcha tea, matcha cookies, matcha cake, matcha everything.
It's so good.
What is it?
Oh, it's a frozen berry matcha smoothie.
Oh, but is it the same thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I ordered first, so she copied me.
Okay.
Because I know Erin has really good taste. Yeah.
Just let your hair down. Let's paint the whole town.
We then met up with the rest of the
Life is
girls for a quick lunch.
playground. But I'm not a kid no more, so I must open doors and make you feel like the lady you are. My mama raised me to be classy, not flashy. I'm happy.
Okay, so we're eating lunch right now. I bought these new glasses.
Yep, let's put on you.
And we're gonna go thrifting later. And I'm super excited.
Chivalry is dead, dead. Girl, let a real man pick up the slack and treat you with respect. Yeah, you don't have to love.
She's gonna go wash her hair in the sink. And then
Shower her hair.
oh yeah, according to her own words, she's gonna shower her hair.
The group split up again for the afternoon, with me heading to Kitazawa, a shopping district known for its varied thrift stores. Something about buying secondhand just hits different. Like I could find traces of someone's life story in a denim romper or stray flannel. I found myself imagining what stage of life the person was in when they wore that piece of clothing and, more interestingly, why they decided to part ways with
If I
it.
speak my truth, would you believe me?
Whenever I'm thrifting, I feel like a collector of memories. Something so weirdly intimate about scavenging for clothes that, at some point, mattered to someone else. And now that it belongs to me, I feel like I'm adding to this story. After shopping for hours, we hopped on a cab and headed to our dinner reservation.
Hey guys, so right now we're on our way to dinner. We're on a cab ride right now. Yeah.
It was a omakase-style meal, meaning we didn't have a menu to order from. Instead, our meal consisted of dishes selected by the chef beforehand, which added an extra layer of surprise as we waited for the next dish to arrive.
Ain't no way.
Surrounded by the best company, we laughed and talked and giggled well into the night while feasting on the most delicious sukiyaki, crab meat, and sashimi. Are you excited?
Yes, but Becky spent $5,000 getting up.
Day 3 was Disney Day. My roommate Erin and I met up with the rest of the girls and headed out. We were all smiling like idiots knowing we'd unleash our inner child today. Also, side note, look at our fits. Like, everyone was wearing the cutest, most vibrant outfits, and it was absolutely adorable, and I loved it.
I can hear the soft breathing of the girl that I love as she lies here beside me, asleep with a knife.
For context, Disney holds a special place in our hearts. It's tradition for us to go to Shanghai Disneyland every summer. We kept up the streak freshman and sophomore year, but couldn't go junior year due to COVID. And now, as recent senior graduates, we were in freaking Tokyo making up for a missed streak.
She is soft, she is warm, but my heart remains heavy. And I watch as her breath gently rise, gently fall.
As much as I love Disney movies, I'm actually not a huge fan of the rides, so some of us left early while the rest stayed to catch the parade and lighting show later in the night. Jess and I went back to the hotel for a quick rest, then headed to Takashita Street around the Shibuya area to shop.
Okay, yeah, explain what you got.
Like, I don't know, Zach Jubel.
We soon met up with Jasmine and lined up for some crepe, which was one of the most delectable desserts I had on this trip. I still dream about it sometimes.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yay! Yum, yum, yum. How is it?
It's so heavenly.
For dinner, we went to a conveyor belt sushi restaurant nearby and had way too much fun ordering our food because our dishes were literally delivered on this makeshift toy train and it was just so adorable. Even after devouring our sushi, we craved dessert, so we got ice cream at Lawson and then took the metro home with our overstuffed but very, very happy bellies.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I forgot to charge my camera this day, so phone camera it is. It was a relatively chill day. We spent the morning at a kimono costume place we booked a few weeks prior. The next hour was spent stuffing ourselves into heavy and tight clothes, and let me tell you, our empathy for Japanese women who had to wear these all day long skyrocketed after this experience. We walked, or more accurately, shuffled to Sensoji Temple in our little tiny sandals. The second we pulled our phones out for photos, it started pouring, but the rainstorm barely fazed us as we continued to strike weird-ass poses trying to take pics for one another in this horrible weather. Exhausted and hungry, we gladly changed out of our kimonos and found a tonkatsu place nearby. The pork cutlet was so tender and it had the perfect amount of fat and lean meat. The portions were also huge and it was such a filling and hearty meal. Some girls headed to Shibuya Sky later to explore the city for the evening, but after days of non-stop traveling and socializing, I needed some downtime. I stayed in my room to recharge and then ended the night trying this dance routine, if you can even call what we were doing dancing, with Kyungnan at the hotel. The next day, we packed our luggages, bid a final farewell to Tokyo, and then hopped on a plane ride to Okinawa.
I left my heart in old Paris. Through the window.
Hey guys, we're on our way to the airport because we got off for kind of no reason and now we're waiting again and now it's 2G. And low-key, what if we miss our flight? Yes, but also, a funny encounter happened between Sarah and a very nice young man. Okay, let me show this. Mans was masturbating. And I had no idea there was a person. And my leg was kind of just... I was like trying to scream it, so my ass was in his dick. Oh my god, I was like this close. But Mans was smiling. What do you think he did?
Across a stranger's face. I've never felt so out of place. My heart belongs to you.
I'm a certified city girl, but dear Lord, Okinawa made me never want to be in a city again. Everything felt lighter here. The laughter bouncing through the streets felt more carefree, the caramel hue of the sun felt warmer, even the girls looked brighter, our tanned skins glistening under the summer heat. My heart beat a little slower here. I heard the crash of ocean waves against the shore, almost like an incessant chant echoing in my ear. I tasted salty sea breeze on the tip of my tongue. It's places like these where time passes by leisurely, and you live your days acknowledging the life around you rather than bearing through it.
We're still at Little Greece. It's super nice here, but super hot. I'm actually sweating my makeup off.
When we landed, our first stop was this little beach town near the airport. We took photos there, bought ice cream, and swooned over the most adorable stray cats. Our next destination was Kokusai Dori Street. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's basically an avenue complete with souvenir shops and restaurants. The girls walked around for a bit, taking in this new city so drastically different than the uptight and bustling urban landscapes we were so used to. We grabbed dinner at the most amazing restaurant that served fresh sashimi and its most popular dish, the salmon roe rice bowl. Jess and I shared an assorted sashimi rice which was so toothsome. The people in Okinawa were also so welcoming, and this particular guy serving our dish was hilarious.
This salmon was taken by fishermen in Hokkaido. After I said oisa, please continue to say oisa.
Oisa.
And reply oisa. 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 Thank you. Oisa means Hokkaido fisherman's voice. Fishing. Oisa. Oisa. Here we go. Oisa. 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 Oisa.
Oh, dude, I cannot.
Salted squid.
Oh my god. Same.
Very slimy.
Okay.
As always, we got ice cream afterwards.
I am trying rainbow milk and salt. Is it good? Well, I can't taste what it is, but it's pretty good.
Dragon fruit, passion, and mango.
Okay. Is it good?
Oh my god, so
What
this is like the Baskin Robbins, you know the marshmallow thing they had, Baskin Robbins.
Oh, damn.
Cotton candy, it's like that,
What are you getting?
I got tofu with brown sugar. Oh, I'm dripping.
Oh.
And Okinawa taro.
Which one do you like more?
I think maybe the taro.
Okay. Wait, put your tongue here.
Back at the hotel, some of us went for a swim while Sabrina, Kyungnan, Sarah, Lena, Jess, and I headed to the beach. We went to bed giddy about the next few days ahead.
Okay, we just got to our hotel. We finished dinner, super good dinner. And now we're about to go for a walk at the beach late at night. And then tomorrow we have snorkeling. And then we have a beach day. This is Jasmine. Okinawa is so nice. I think I like it more than Tokyo because the weather here is perfect. It's super hot, but I like hot weather because I get to wear summer dresses, which is my absolute favorite thing ever. I'm vlogging. I knew it. I still did it, guys. You messy eater. Wait, don't. Let me film.
That is, everything around you that you call life was made up by people who were no smarter than you.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. You're so cute. Oh my god, it looks mega long. What the?
Those days we had together, let's not forget them. Glorious days, and we'll have them all over again. I know we will.
Yes.
Growing up, my mom always said I was meant for the seas. That this palm reader she met years before I was born had traced the patterns of her skin and said her daughter, in some past life, belonged to the oceans. My mom took this as a sign to sign me up for swim lessons. Since then, a large majority of my time was spent underwater. I don't swim competitively anymore, and I'm not a huge believer in any fortune-telling business, but I've always felt most serene near the ocean. As a chronic overthinker, water offered me a safe haven to submerge my body and thoughts into an environment void of noise. Even today, there's this pang of familiarity whenever the pungent smell of chlorine or salt air hits me. That's why the one thing I looked forward to most on this trip was snorkeling. What we saw, the school of fish, the coral reefs, the effervescent water, was extraordinary and breathtaking, and the camera did not do it justice. I was so at peace and felt both insignificant and significant swimming alongside these creatures. Like I was so small in comparison to the mightiness of the sea, but at the same time, I felt important, like I was a part of this heavenly world. Humans occupied the same space as these beautiful things, which has to mean, in some way, that we're just as beautiful too. I don't know. Something about being this close to nature makes me feel things differently than I would back home. After snorkeling, we went back to the hotel for a shower and walked to this tasty soba noodle place. The next few hours were spent at the hotel beach, tanning and hanging out with the rest of the girls.
Are we good?
When evening arrived, we went to dinner.
School used to be cool. Go and kick it on some meta shit the metas won't believe true. I know before we couldn't see both summers, all you needed was some loving, but you know I couldn't see to it. She leaves close that I couldn't follow them. Ain't it obvious? Your body's so astonishing. So much more than beautiful. The meta do is trying to clean it.
We're about to head to dinner, and we got kicked out of the other restaurant.
We did.
Erin, Emily, and I dined at this outdoor restaurant. A live band played in the background, and the place was packed, and people were engrossed in conversation with their family and friends. And I just love meals like these, where phones are stashed away and you're just surrounded by good food and good company.
For the time I used to rap about it, nowadays you play my music. Only thing to keep me up is you around me. No, I'm not the only one who thinks about you. I can see the men who do the same shit to make you think they all about you. Tell me you can see.
We went to this little gift shop afterwards and then met up with the rest of the girls at Family Mart.
Doing anything to say we had a touch. Goddamn, the shit is eating me up. Need palm trees in my view while we lay in the sun. Baby girl, we something else.
Okay, my OOTD is a Pinduoduo shirt.
Again.
And then this is also from Taobao.
Okay, shoes.
Adidas, the only brand
Okay,
out
bag.
of Taobao.
Pull-in bear.
All curvy as fuck.
Okay, and shoes. This Air Force Ones that are literally breaking down.
Bag.
And just a Charles and Keith bag.
Cute.
With Becky's earrings.
This is pants I've worn for like 5 years.
Oh my God. Literally wore this since 5th grade.
These are my brother's old The top. This is a bra I wore to prom. Yeah. This is my sister's and it's like 10. Okay, bag. This is Emily's birthday gift to me. Cute. MLB. Cute.
This is a cute little bralette that my mom brought from the States.
Slay.
This is a Kipling bag.
Aww.
This is Abercrombie and Fitch.
Slay. Oh my God. Slides?
Slides are Puma. That are probably fake, I think.
Giving my all, so I want you come. So many nights I'm doing my thing and I'm just making these songs.
It was a perfect day. Day 7 is what we call a tourist day. Our first stop was Cape Manza, where we saw a scenic rock cliff that overlooked the East China Sea.
Make sure to leave your phone so no one calls you home.
We then went to Okinawa World and saw, or in my case, ran away from, an assortment of reptiles.
Make time to rewind, to think about all the good times. Make a note to close the door, lock up, hit the lights, let's go.
Irene, being the bravest of the group, literally took photos with a snake wrapped around her neck, which still gives me chills thinking about it. Afterwards, we visited Jayakusendo, a cave system formed over 300,000 years. The ceilings were covered in stalactites, and it was both a haunting and out-of-body experience walking through this place. I felt like I was literally in Batman's secret lair, and half the time I was paranoid one of the spears was gonna fall from above and I would die with a stake plunged into my heart. Stalactites are formed when rainwater drips through limestone. When the dripping water comes into contact with cave air, it slowly forms into a spear-like structure. It grows insanely slowly, with many of the stalactites around us predating human existence. They crawled along the ceiling like it had a life of its own, and it was terrifying to see.
No, you can't. There are things sticking out. There's like bones sticking out.
As intangible as the concept of time is, being there in that cave, I felt like I almost caught a glimpse of time in its solid form. These rocks had existed long before I did, long before any of us did. How many people had seen these structures? How many people had touched them? What was life like when these stalactites were still barely just a little bump on the cave walls? These structures had existed through and seen so much of time, of life, and it frightened me that they'll continue growing well beyond my time, outliving me, all the while unfazed by the world around them. The simplicity of their purpose in contrast to the magnitude of their existence was as laughable as it was admirable to me. Exiting the cave drenched in sweat, we bought some smoothies to cool down and then headed to Dory Street, the same place we had dinner at yesterday. Lena, Jess, Emily, and I bought some onigiri and bubble tea and then split up with the rest of the group to head to American Village on our own. With vibrantly painted buildings and streets lined with palm trees, American Village felt like we had transported ourselves to California. We did a bit of shopping, then found outdoor seats at a restaurant overlooking the beach.
Found a note in my backpack from August. Said we'd never go back where we started. Came home from break, you put your head on my chest, and I stayed too long and I forgot why I left. Cut my tongue at a party last night, and I spilled my claw on the girl that I liked. She cried and kissed me in the laundry room. Thank God I drank enough that I could think about you, and I never.
It was so serene, and our group loved it so much that we stayed till the sun had set. When night took over, we bought ice cream cookie sandwiches and then strolled along the beach, eventually sitting down on the steps, enjoying our dessert.
Who gives a kid to a mom who doesn't want one? Who lets that kid fall in love? Who never taught him enough is enough is enough? Who let him into a bar and kiss a dude in the bathroom stall? I know he spent his summers in the back of a car. Learned the worst part of growing up is learning how young you are.
It was dark and we could barely see the water, our features dimly lit under the night sky, but it was beautiful and we sat there taking it all in.
I forgive my father, for I know now no one knows what they are doing. God is just the universe, patiently reworking what
we blasted throwback songs in our phones and just talked about impending college life, about high school memories. We made promises, tons of them. We said we'd visit each other even if we were in different cities. We would still text each other in college, and that we return to this beach years from now when we had our own careers and family, and we sit back down and just talk like we'd never left in the first place.
Left the whole time wondering why the world is full of suffering. What makes it?
You should say something to the camera. What day is today?
Today is 5th of February.
Today is June 5th, 2023. It's our last day in Okinawa. I'm with Jessica, Lena, and Emily. And look at the view we're looking at. It's insane. I know. a sad day.
It's a very sad moment.
We bid Okinawa goodbye and headed to Tokyo the next morning. I wanted to truly enjoy my last day with the girls without my camera as a distraction, and so I didn't film a lot this day. We went thrifting one last time at Kitazawa and then grabbed dinner at this amazing udon place. I got this delicious egg yolk udon and tons of fried tempura. It shouldn't even be a surprise at this point, but our group got our much needed dessert fix at a bakery afterwards, simply enjoying each other's company. We shut our overstuffed luggages and headed back to Shanghai early in the morning. Jasmine, Erin, Kyungnan, and I, staying true to the vow we made early on in the trip, threw on our I guess this is goodbye t-shirt at the airport. A few hours later, we were home, grinning as our parents greeted us at the arrival gate with boba tea and the most adorable gift cards. We bid our farewells, then went our separate ways, feeling like we were still in some sort of fever dream. I love sunsets. I love the taste of freshly cut papaya. I love true crime shows and belting Hosier songs in the shower. I love 3 a.m. conversations with friends about life and existential crisis and just how terrified we are of college. I love being loved and to love, and I love love. Some days, I feel like my body is too feeble, too mortal to cradle everything I have to say and feel. And I feel everything so fucking deeply, something my mom once jokingly called a curse. Almost always, my heart aches. My emotions beat under my skin like a war drum. It almost becomes hard to breathe. On this trip, my heart thrashed for the little things. The way I hug Erin and she always hugs me back a little tighter. The way I've unknowingly started to incorporate all of Sabrina's catchphrases into my own language. The way Lena always gladly stays after school for hours just to explain the dumbest CS concepts to me. The way Jessica and I literally skip down streets hand in hand whenever thrifting is involved. The way my heart warms when Jasmine's eyes light up at the sign of tofu flavored ice cream. The way being around Sarah makes me feel like I could dream big and accomplish anything I want. The way Emily and I fangirl over the silliest C-drama. The way Irene and I hype each other up over our fits no matter what, even if we're literally wearing sweats. The way Ocean and I send each other endless thirst traps of J Park. The way I always giggle at Zoe's adorable Chinese. And the way I grin like an idiot whenever Kyungnan pokes me in the arm, asking me to explain a joke, which is always. So here's my confession. This video is more a love letter to my girlies than it is to high school. Because high school was never really that big a deal. They were. Grand gestures always felt so forceful to me, but this video is my attempt at something grand. My way of saying I love you guys and thank you, because life is way too fucking short to not say I love you to people you love and not say thank you to people who deserve your gratefulness. There's so much life to live, and so many more goodbyes ahead of us. But even if we won't be with each other as we embark on our next journey, just know your names are engraved on my fingertips. Whatever story I write next will have traces of you guys in it too.
I can't describe